artists behind the epic melodies, songs, and beats. Celebrating the best new music from around the world. This is the A State of Trance podcast.
Yes, what's up? My name is Ruben Ronde with Nina de Koning in the studio for A State of Trance. And we have a very special guest today, Marie Healy.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
So today we're going to dive a little bit into the world of Marie Healy. And we have some fan questions as well. I like to start every episode of the podcast with a dive into the history. I would love to hear from you. How did you get infected with dance music? What was the first moment that you were like, wow, this is it?
I always remember growing up, my brother used to listen to a lot of like Sasha and Digweed, and I think that was my probably first introduction into like dance music. And then I can't really remember exactly what defining moment it was, but I think following on from that, then I kind of got into the hard house stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say maybe when I was around 15, I had like a fake ID and I snuck into, it was God's Kitchen at the Point depot. And the ID was 16, but I was 15. And I remember going in and seeing, it was like Scott Project, Paul Van Dyke, Lisa Lashes.
Yeah.
And when I seen Lisa Lashes, I was like, oh my God, I want to be a DJ.
Yeah? That's how, so it started with your brother playing like deeper progressive stuff.
Yeah.
Like intelligent dance music with Sasha and Digweed, of course.
Yeah.
Absolute legends. And I guess they were like top 5 DJs of the world back then, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What made you decide to switch to hard dance from that moment?
I think it was like, very popular in Ireland, and I think hard house was really having its moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went hard house.
Yeah.
And I asked Santa for a set of decks for Christmas, and I had bought a load of hard house vinyls.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my first favorite ever track was it was Heaven's Cry Till Tears Do Us Part.
Proper cheese.
Yeah, proper. Like when I listened back to it, like even the production of it. But I remember just listening to it. I had it on a cassette, and I kept rewinding it and rewinding it and rewinding it.
You had to time it perfectly when it was on the radio. You had to like, and then before the commercials came, you stop recording.
And then I think kind of following on from there,
But why was it that you went to God's Kitchen? You saw Lisa playing. You were like, I want to do that too. Why was that? That you were like, okay, instead of the dance floor, I want to be in control of everything. What was the urge that caused that?
I think it was like her stage presence on the decks. Like she was really like mesmerizing, and it wasn't just about the music; it was about the performance as well. And then I think shortly after that, then with my fake ID, we went like I was in Dublin every weekend, going to a club called the Red Box.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen so many DJs there, like Dave Clark, Cal Cox. Like I loved everything. Like anything I could go to, I was there. So it just all kind of took off from there.
Okay, and then you got your first decks for Christmas?
Got my first decks for Christmas, yeah.
You got that from your parents, I guess?
Yes. And
what did they think of that you wanted to have decks? Because it's not your typical, holiday gift, especially back, that was a few years ago, that you were like, hey, I want to have some decks. I want to become a DJ. What did they think of that?
Yeah, I remember the day my dad took me down to a shop, and even the guy around behind the counter was kind of like, "Are these for you?" And it was a really funny thing because I took the decks home and I wrapped them up myself.
Yeah.
And opened them on Christmas morning.
What a surprise!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
What's in here?
So you got the decks, you put them in place, and what happened then? Like, how did you teach yourself how to spin, or how do I have to see it?
Yeah, I think I remember my first ever mix that I got was Tiesto Traffic and Motorcycle As the Rush Comes.
Okay.
And just for hours and hours on end, I was
it's going up and down each record.
And down, yeah, trying to imagine what 138 was at the time. And then like every weekend I used to go into a shop in Dublin and buy vinyls. And I think I had a part-time job. I was backpacking, and all the money I would get from the backpacking, I would head into town and buy new vinyls, or you'd get white labels, and I used to think I was so cool coming home on a train with my bag of vinyls.
Yeah. And back then you thought that white labels were the most valuable things, and right now if you have the normal pressing, that's so much worth more than white labels. So okay, so you were practicing, you were getting better in what you're doing. Do you still remember getting your first booking or your first gig?
Yeah, so it's a long story, but
we have all the time.
So I got in trouble with my neighbors.
You were making too much noise?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. And my father got taken to court over my
because
music.
of that? Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
And so it kind of all kicked off. Like I was making noise. I was.
You were young.
I was young.
Aspiring DJ. Yeah.
And it was, at the start, it was loud. And then it just became like an annoyance thing, It was crazy. So the kind of 3 times we were in court, and I still was under 18. So my father, the first time we went to court, it was he was threatened with an environmental act if I didn't turn down my music.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So then I kind of had to stop, but I couldn't stop.
No.
I just loved loud music, and I just loved playing every day. And to be honest, it wasn't past, it wasn't a nighttime. And I used to have a half day on a Wednesday, so I'd come home and the decks would go on. So then, kind of when I was 17, it was really getting serious. And then the outcome of the last court case was my dad got threatened with a week in jail.
No way, because of you?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And I was still in school at this stage, and even the school teachers were saying is this you, Maria? And I was in the 3 newspapers.
Oh my God.
So I'd stopped then, I'd kind of had to take a little step back, and then I kind of learned how to mix my headphones, which is very beneficial now.
Yeah.
So it kind of had made me stop for a while, but it was always still in me. And then I'd say fast forward to 2008, I went to Ibiza for a season.
Okay.
And it was just a pure party season. And
so you decided to go to Ibiza for a longer period of time?
Yeah, I went for 3 months.
Okay.
And kind of over the 3 months, I was at Cream Amnesia every weekend, on Judgment Sunday, Armada on a Tuesday.
At Amnesia.
Yeah, every week. I seen Armin probably, I think when I eventually got to play in Amnesia, the promoter said to me, I think you've done more hours in this club. So I then, it was after I came home from Ibiza that year, I said, I'm getting decks again. So I had the vinyl, so I actually bought...
so you sold the decks before?
No, I still had them, but I got CDJs then.
Okay, yeah.
And then I went back to Ibiza the year after, and I took the CDJs with me.
Okay.
And then I had got my first gig in Ireland that summer, just in my hometown. And then as soon as I arrived in Ibiza, my friend had grabbed me and said, you're playing in Troppy, which is like a little tiny bar down the West End.
Yeah.
And from there, I played almost every night that summer.
Nice.
No way.
Even that year, I got to play in Eden with, who was it? It was Leon Bollier.
Yeah.
And I played in Es Paradis that year. And then I came home, and I was playing a lot of a techno tech house as well.
Okay.
And I think I got a gig with who was it? It was I can't remember the name, but I got a techno gig in Dublin then. So I was kind of experimenting and just doing as many gigs as possible.
So you went back to Dublin, you were like, hey, I've been playing all summer in Ibiza, I'm an Ibiza DJ. You have to book me.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, you did a couple of shows, you went back to Dublin. That was the only season that you stayed in Ibiza, so you went to Ibiza 2 years in a row?
I did another one.
You did another one?
And
okay.
then I had a break for a few years, and then I did 2014. So I did 2008, 9 and 10. And then had then I was kind of working full time, and then I asked the job that I was in. I said, "Hey, any chance you can let me go to Ibiza for the summer?" And they did.
Wow.
Wow. But also, when you were in Ibiza, did you do like other side jobs, or was it only DJing?
I worked in a bar, an Irish bar called Joe Spoon's, and I also did so actually in 2009 I got a gig with Vicky Devine's night, and she was doing like an all female kind of.
Oh, Vicky's great.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Vicky. She's still in Ibiza.
Yeah. She's never come home.
No.
So she gave me an opportunity then in 2010 to play at it was a residency down the West End in a club called Play 2, and my set time was 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. every
the graveyard
Saturday.
every time.
Yeah. So you kind of had to stay up. So we used to go to Troppies till 4 o'clock, and there was a little bit of a lull, and then you'd go down to Play 2, and every week I'd play 5 a.m. to 6.
But in the meantime, you're making your dream come true, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're stacking up hours and hours of DJing on Ibiza, which is like one of the best places in the world to play. So you've done that for a few years. You've done a lot of shows, and then in 2012 you decided like, hey, I want to start releasing music as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. The first release was Playroom.
Oh, actually, I think it was one on Detox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Badouche.
Yes.
2011.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the first one.
Yeah. John O'Callaghan has always, I'd met John in Ibiza, and he, female Irish DJ.
Yeah.
He's like, you need to start producing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And he was like, get into the studio. So I was always kind of playing around with like Fruity Loops back in the day, and then Badouche was the first one. So Mark Sherry helped me get that over the line with Detox. So yeah, that was the first one. So I was kind of playing a lot of like slower, kind of techier stuff back then. All the kind of like Cold Harbour-y stuff.
Yeah, the re-spaces, the darker sounds.
Yeah.
And because I was looking up, I was like, Badouche, what the hell is Badouche?
Oh,
that must be a good story.
Do you know what? It was one of these things when we were in the nightclub, and you used to like badouche your belly against another belly.
All right. Okay. You're saying this like this is a normal thing. It's not.
It's just an Irish,
Irish.
private, not so private. Oh God, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
and did Mark also know what it meant? Because he's from Scotland, not from Ireland. So
no, Wales.
Oh, he's from Wales.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oof. Sorry, Mark. Hiding behind the desk right now. So, all right. So that was your first release. Putting everything together. That was the start of your trance career, I guess.
Yeah.
Because before that, like you said, you did a lot of shows as a tech house artist, techno artist. Badouche came into the world, and suddenly, boom, Maria Healy is here. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
And then the year later, you released Playroom on Carnage.
Yes.
With a Brian Kearney remix.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that one?
I think I've always been a fan of, the old Vandit, kind of Activa, Plux, and I wanted something that would be more like my signature sound, but with kind of like a new flavour. So the Playroom, and I think the name came from, it was me winning this DJ competition in the Artists in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So the prize was to play in the Playroom.
Okay. There you go.
Many stories. So that was kind of where the name had came from. And then I'd sent it to Brian. Brian was probably only starting Carnage as well. Well, maybe he was around for a few years. And when he said, yeah, I'll sign it.
It was when he just stepped away from the whole Discover part, I think.
Yeah, so he was like, send me the stems. Send me the remix parts. I'll do a little touch up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And suddenly you have a Brian Kearney remix.
Yeah.
That could be worse. Yeah. And then I'm just going to jump really fast through some of your the highlights, because in 2014 was your first release. Well, there he is. The circle is complete, I guess, with John O'Callaghan on Subculture.
Yeah.
Atlantis
Colin, yes. Yeah.
So that was the first step into the world of Subculture. And from how did that come about? Because you already had a connection with John, obviously, because you mentioned you started making music because John said to you, like, hey, you have to start making music as well. How did that signing come about? Do you still remember signing that track to Subculture?
Yeah, I still remember getting the email, that he said it was signed. Now, there was a bit of back and forth, things change. And I think, maybe it wasn't as strong enough as an original. So he'd kindly organise the Noble Six remix to do the remix as well. So it kind of came as an EP, but it was really, really surreal having a track on Subculture. But thank you, John.
I guess it's one of the best labels there is. So that must be nice. And from there on, we already talked about that in the show as well. Is that from there on, you just basically released either on Subculture or Future Sound of Egypt. And there was a couple of odd release here and there also, of course. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the relationships that you have with both labels, and how are they not fighting over you? Like, hey, we want to have this. No, you have this.
Do you know what? I was actually sitting in a taxi. Was it last year with Faddy and John? And I said to Faddy, he goes, your new track, Blush. And John was like,
just like, wait a minute. John was like, what?
I haven't heard that one. I was like,
awkward.
No, but yeah, let's not go there. No, it's absolutely
we can go there.
fine.
It's fine.
No, it's all good. I think the Future Sound of Egypt has kind of come a little bit later, but yeah, look, it absolutely delighted to be able to, and that it's not political, that you can sign on both labels. Yeah.
Well, it helps that they are friends of each other. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, look, we're all friends. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
But if you have to choose, no. No, we're not going there.
Ruben.
No, not going to put you on the spot right there. In the meantime, there was a couple of remixes of big classics as well. You did Confirmation with Fred Baker. Well, recently BT, Godspeed, and you also did Feeling Perry, Ashley.
Yes.
Is that one of the missions, or is it something that you do for your DJ sets and then it's going to be released? Or do you pick and choose some classics that you were like, okay, I want to rework this and release them eventually?
I think the BT one started off as a rework. And then it was kind of going in the direction where I was like,
this is not bad. Yeah.
I'll send Arnie a message to see if we can get this signed. And then he'd come back and says that BT really, really likes it. So I was like, oh my God.
BT.
Yeah.
Oh, he likes it. Oh.
Yeah. I was getting copied in the mail. I was like, Brian. Yeah, so that was really, really surreal. I think it was one of them ones as well that it's not that popular. Well, it is popular, but it's not the one everyone would go for.
Flaming June or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why it was really well received. So yeah, I think it probably would start off as a rework.
So it would be something that you do for your sets, basically, something exclusive, and then play it and see what happens, basically.
Exactly that.
So which ones are the ones that you have lined up right now, or that you play in your sets, or is there any classics that you're working on right now, or you want to do? Want to rework?
I have kind of I've done a rework of Schiller Das Glockenspiel. Do you remember that one?
Yes, absolutely. Gesto Mix was fantastic.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think why it will be a rework is because I kind of had taken some of the elements from the Tiesto remix. And
dun, 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 dun.
And then there was also elements from the original, and I think it was because I had the original audio. I couldn't be an actual remix, but you never know. And then I did a remix of Angelic, Can't Keep Me Silent.
Oh, old Judge Shields track.
Yeah. And again, it's just a rework, but I was kind of hoping to bump into her one day and, say, any chance to that.
Well, you have to be careful because he's a lawyer right now.
Yeah,
so
I know. I won't be giving that one out for free, free download.
Actually, I think most Angelic tunes is off the rack, but I think most Angelic tunes are in the catalog of Armada right now. So I think you just have to send an email to James or Harry, and they can probably help you out.
Thank you very much for the tip.
So there you go.
Yeah.
In a few months we'll have a Maria Healy remix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Rework X remix.
Now, just on a side note, because I have to be really honest with you, because I did a lot of research also for this podcast, and it's really hard to find anything about Maria Healy that's not part of the artist Maria Healy. Because if you look at your socials, everything is like shows or releases. Tell us a little bit more about the person Marie Healy, not the artist.
Oh, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I'm not doing music, I love to go to the gym.
Okay.
Kind of love strength training. I also love a bit of yoga. Try to do all the good things, meditation, all that good stuff. A little bit woo-woo.
To keep in balance everywhere. Yeah,
absolutely. Love cooking. I think probably since lockdown, I just get so excited about food. Yeah. Like if I'm not thinking about food, I'm eating food. And,
that's why you have to all the training as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I just love planning what to eat, or planning the weeks ahead.
No, I love that. I have that too. I love cooking. Every night I make a proper meal instead of just ordering or something. Yeah. Just the fact that you take some ingredients, like making music, you take some ingredients, you make something out of it. And for example, yesterday I made over here in the Netherlands we eat a lot of gehaktballen and meatballs. Oh. And you have gravy, and we didn't have gravy, so I was like, okay. I was thinking of how do I make gravy? So I took some onions and some stock and some garlic, some salt, pepper, some mustard.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's see how it turns out. It was great. I was like, wow, it's fantastic. Yeah. Cooking is great.
Yeah, it's great.
So I understand.
Yeah.
Nina agrees.
Yeah. I wish I could relate.
So cooking is one of your passions. Yeah. Working out is one of your passions. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Oh, okay. This is the end of the podcast? No.
No. I have to say though, I do love cats as well. My neighbours there's 2 cats on my left side and 1 cat on the other side. So we have our feline friends beside each other. And
they come into your house and own it.
Well, we did let one of the cats in, and then it was one day where it was really, really mucky, and it was a brand new house, and the cat jumped. Or I was trying to block him because his feet were so muddy. And then he did a big rainbow muck on the wall. So I was like, listen, you're not coming in anymore. So I had to kick him out.
Now I understand. Yeah. Now I understand your answer. 100%. Now there's 2 tracks. This is the last moment we're going to talk about your discography. Because I have to say, when you look at your Spotify profile, you see Clouds, almost 4 million streams. And then you have Mimosa, one of my personal favorites. We played it a few times on the show, I think, with 2.5 million. That's incredible for instrumental trance tracks.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect it to blow up like that?
No, definitely not. And it was in 2020.
Yeah.
So it was like the world was shutting down, and my Spotify playlist was blowing up.
You're like, what's happening here?
What's going on? So it was kind of a real bittersweet moment, because you're like, oh, I'm not going to get to play this out, or So
did you ever play them out? Did you play them out before COVID came?
I played Clouds out. We were actually in Belfast for a gig, and I'd played it for the first time. And I got to play Clouds out just before everything had that was like the final show, February.
Oh yeah, that's really on the mark, yeah.
Then after that, then, you couldn't. And it was so hard then, but look, I got very lucky on Spotify and the transmission playlist.
And then what happened when you come out of lockdown and you play these tracks for the first time? Because I guess everybody suddenly knows those tracks.
I don't think I did play them really out. I just think I played them so much in the streams that I was like, right, that's there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there is some tracks that I hear, and even that I played in lockdown, and I think it's just one of them things that they were the lockdown tunes, and that's that.
You just want to have them behind you. Don't play them anymore. But on the other side, though, people kind of, I think. It's a bit of a thing that every DJ has that makes music and has a successful song. They don't want to play it anymore because they hear it too many times. Yeah. But on the other side, people expect you to play it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to walk out and, oh, she didn't play Clouds.
Yeah.
I hate her.
Yeah. I must bring it back, though.
Yeah, bring it back. Yeah. It's good songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. I'm not telling you what to play, but play it. I kind of do.
Ruben's going to be your manager from now on.
Yeah. There you go. The last one song I want to mention is Reputation, because I think that's such a banger, such a great tune, and such a great vocal tune. Because, like mentioned, you had the most success with instrumental tunes,
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Reputation. How did that come about?
Yeah, I think it's, again, usually sometimes I would start off with the melody, and I think more recently enough, it's kind of been like the percussion, and then I was getting inspiration from the percussion to make the melodic parts of it, and then I found the vocal, and it was really, really luckily had like slotted in to the breakdown.
Like it perfectly fitted in,
like perfectly fitted in, and I was like, oh, and I think the melody was like I thought it was good at the time, but I think then when I sent it to John, he just wrote back signed.
I can hear it saying signed.
Yeah, signed. And then he'd kind of asked me to do have it ready for Luminosity. So he actually played it before me.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, if it's John, it's okay.
Yeah, if it's John, it's okay. And I was actually doing a classic set at Luminosity this year, so I didn't even get to play it. So it was John who played it on the main stage.
Did you see him playing it? Premiering it?
I've seen it on the stream, and I was only going over on the Sunday, so I was watching it on the telly.
Oh, yeah. I love those live streams though.
Yeah,
those are amazing.
So good.
We mentioned it a few times already. You're from Dublin, and I have to say, because there's a lot of guests here in the studio that are coming from Ireland, also from Dublin, and I'm just amazed that one city that is always full of rain has so much good parties and so much great artists. What do you think what is the reason behind Dublin being such a hub for trance artists?
Oh, I don't know. I think it could be going back to when I was growing up, there was just so much on. There were so many events on every weekend, and I think we all kind of met each other through trance and like dance
because
music.
Most of you know each other for ages.
Yeah.
Because I remember there's one picture from, I guess it's like maybe 2004 or something. I think every trance fan has seen it. The one with John O'Callaghan and with Brian Kearney.
And Mara Picotto.
Picotto, yeah.
Did you see? There's a new updated version of that.
Like the same, the same poses.
It's our friend Sean Foley. So at Planet Love Subculture this year, they recreated the photo.
Brilliant.
So it's 20 years apart.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You see the young John and the young Brian. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Also, another big thing in your career in 2019. I remember seeing it that you were, because we have received this award quite a few times with this radio show. I'm not bloating or anything, but you received a nomination for Best Female Artist for the IDMAs, the International Dance Music Awards.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was.
Do you remember getting that news that you were nominated for that? Because it's a big thing. Like
it is, but I also think there's not that much options as well.
That's not true.
No, I don't mean like that. But we're a rare.
Yeah, you shouldn't
breed.
play that down because that's a big thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I think it was insane, and I think I got it the year after as well. But yeah, it felt like a really big deal.
It is.
Yeah,
it is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
We're in a world of 7 billion people, and being nominated is an absolute honor.
Sorry, I shouldn't play that down. Actually,
no, you should wear it like an accolade, 100%. No, I think so at least.
Again, Ruben, the manager.
no, I'm just saying it how it is. Because I do the same. If you get like someone saying something nice about you, you're downplaying it by
I think that's Irish mentality as well.
I'm not Irish, but maybe I am.
Yeah.
No, but also Dutchies, we do it also.
Yeah, it's the Calvinistic raising. I guess so.
Yeah.
And now a part we promised that we're going to talk about in the episode as well, because there is way too little guests here in the studio, female guests. What do you think is one of the main reasons that right now female artists are going other genres or not necessarily in the steps that we're doing right now?
Ooh. I'm not too sure. I think like for me, it was growing up and it was my bread and butter. Like I absolutely loved trance and still do. And again, I was hanging around with a load of lads. And there wasn't that many like female trance DJs when I was growing up. And I think, for many years I was probably only like one on a lineup for so long. And I think now, I'm not sure what the actual reason is, but maybe, you know, it's
trends.
Maybe
the trends, yeah.
It's
what's hot at the moment.
It's intimidating, maybe, you know, it could be.
Do you think that some artists will be discouraged? Like if they don't get certain chance that they are supposed to get?
I think it depends on the person, really. Yeah, it does. And, you know, I can't even think of anyone who's been and, well, I guess, like, I can't really think of anyone who's been and left because, you know, there's not that many people around.
Yeah.
No, but like, for example, what I feel as a woman, maybe you can relate to that, is that whenever you have to like get into the scene, there are so many biases about, well, not now anymore, but like a couple of years back, it was that way because there were so many guys still and there weren't like a lot of girls and there was no one to stick up for you. So whenever something happened, like an incident or something like that, you now have this like group of women where someone will say, okay, what are you doing to her? Like, why are you doing this? Or why are you saying this? And we stick up for each other more. But back then when we first started, I mean, like I also started like 7-8 years ago, like there you would be alone with this group of men and you could have like incidents or stuff could happen where you would be like, okay, maybe this is just not my scene. Do you relate to that, or was your experience different?
I think, to be honest, I think I've always been very strong-minded, and I kind of have this mentality that the more knockbacks and setbacks I get, I try to use it as like a power to kind of keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Like there has been many, you know, and there's been many no's, and I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is that kind of keeps me going, but the pure passion. But, you know, I've been around a very long time, and I think it's only now where I feel like, like things are actually starting to really happen. So it's such a hard question, and I'm not really sure the answer. I think the main answer is it just depends on the individual as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And in the end, you need to work, you know, mega hard to get where you are. That's
yeah, there's this saying, right, that it takes 10 years to blow up out of nothing. You know.
Yeah.
So that it always takes like a lot of work, and then people will be like, "Oh, where did she come from?" But you've been working for a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they don't know what's been going on in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I agree. And then you've been working really hard to get where you are now, and you're just getting started.
And just getting started.
Even though you have some massive nominations and numbers behind your name already. There's a couple of questions that were submitted also through Instagram. So let's look at one from Sasi Varnan. I always slay these names. What would be your perfect collaboration idea?
Oh, I have to say,
you can't say John. You can't say Ellie File. You can't say Giz Apple to you. Okay, let's rule those out.
Okay. Perfect collaboration, right? Activa.
Activa.
Yeah, absolutely. Master.
One of the best producers on the planet.
Absolutely. And he's such a gent as well.
He is. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have one? Let's pick one.
Me?
Whoa. Pick one out of the list here.
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of Chicane, so I'm going to say Chicane.
Ooh.
I would love to work with him, especially because I'm doing hard techno and he's like definitely not doing that. So I would be very surprised what would come out of that. And you, Ruben, what would you say?
I have no idea. Really no idea. Could be anyone.
You have to answer now.
Say something. We had to say something. Now you do it.
My perfect collaboration. It will be a singer-songwriter, vocalist, Maria Mena from Norway.
Oh, yeah.
She's fantastic.
I could also say Taylor Swift, but yeah, that's like
Taylor Swift, Beyonce.
Can I say like Florence from Florence and the Machine?
Oh yeah,
Florence listening.
Welch. Oh my god, yeah.
Alice Land wants to know, what is your favorite uplifting track this year?
Oh, God, I'm put on the spot now. Oh, okay, Lostly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't think of the name off the top of my head now.
She knows the melody, but she doesn't know the track.
Oh my god!
It's like in your head because I can see.
Well,
it, like,
anything from Lostly is fantastic.
Anything from Lostly. Yeah.
He's one of the.
The next place.
The next place.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Too Legit to Quit 2022 is an actual name. Which DJ turned you to DJing? Well, you already kind of said that.
Lisa Lashes.
Yeah, and if you have to name one role model throughout the years that came after that, which DJ was that?
I have to say John
O'Callaghan?
Yeah.
Wow, I understand that one. That makes it even more special to release music on Subculture as well.
Yeah. Still my hero as well.
Yeah, well,
as well as a friend.
I understand that. He's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of a gamer. We played a few games together as well.
Yeah.
John O'Callaghan, he is. Yeah. I guess that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you so much for answering them.
Thank you so much.
Sticking through them.
Thank you so much.
And sticking up with us. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this A State of Trance podcast with Marie Healy. Make sure to check the socials. She has a lot of shows coming up as well. And see you next time for the new podcast. Ciao.
Thank you for tuning in. Check all previous episodes on YouTube or your favorite podcast portal.